Hello everyone. Today we are going to start class number 4 after we have taken class number 1 on translation definition and class number 1 on the translation in the introductory class, and then we defined translation in class number 2, and in class number 3 we have talked about translation strategies. Today we are going to talk about synonymy. Synonymy is important because it relates to words, and words are the body of the language. You cannot deal with the language without taking care of words in contexts and otherwise. When we talk about literal translation, we talk about a certain way of dealing with synonymy. When we talk about free translation, we in fact talk about certain way of using synonymy as well. Why do you use this word, not that one, relies on your decision on which type of translation you opt for when you start your translation process, okay? Or the translation method, in other words, relies heavily on the choice of words. Okay, so we will define synonymy, and also in order to clarify the meaning of synonymy, we look or touch upon its opposite, antonymy, and then hyponymy, and we're going to talk about why synonymy is important for a translator. Okay, and then a certain remark. And then what is the true test of synonymy? And why do we need to test synonymy? We will finish off with examples, and we will talk about register as well. Okay? What is synonymy? I would like to note that these words are derived from linguistics, and linguistics historically speaking borrow its terms from different languages, specifically the Greek and the Latin. Synonymy is like a Greek word, a prefix. Wherever you see syn, it means name. Wherever you see onomy or nimi, name. Okay, so syn, same, name, same name. Or if you want to talk about it in a more general word, you say same word. Okay, so when we come to antonymy, anti, against, opposite. Okay, name. The word that is the opposite of the other word. So it's good to, this is etymology, you know, etymology, the study of origins of word, or tracing the origin of the word. Tracing the origin of the word is a good strategy to understand language and how it functions throughout times and space. Okay? So synonymy is words having the same or similar meaning. Why do we use same? Why do we use similar? Because some people believe that assist is the same as help. Both can mean يساعد. Assistant is the same as helper. Some people believe no, assist is different from help. Or they are not totally different, they are similar but not same. This is the meaning of words having the same or similar meaning. Okay? Announce is different from declare. They are of the same family, they are synonyms, they are similar but not same to the majority of theoreticians, by the way. Okay? We'll come to this. Help, assist, common, obtuse, hard, difficult. Is hard the same as difficult? Hard, صعب. difficult, صعب. How do you know that hard and difficult are same or similar, or sometimes they converge, sometimes they depart? Of course, they can meet in certain shades of meanings, but they also can depart, then separate in certain other shades. Okay? You need, as a translator, to learn how to deal with words, as we've mentioned last time. Baghdad is an old city but not ancient. We have mentioned that old and ancient are synonyms, but they are not same. Otherwise, how are you going to translate them when they come in one sentence? Okay? Baghdad is an old city but not an ancient. Think of a translation of these of these two words in one sentence. So you need to opt for the dictionary and know the difference between old and ancient. Can you say بغداد مدينة قديمة لكنها ليست مغرقة في القدم؟ بغداد مدينة قديمة بيد أنها ليست مغلة في القدم. مغرقة في القدم، مغلة في القدم as an equivalent of ancient. You think now you look at language different, okay? Differently. If somebody transforms from an enemy into a foe, انتقل من عدو إلى عدو. Foe literal meaning is عدو. Enemy literal meaning is عدو. Okay? Can you say انتقل من? So you need to go back to the rule of translation is about nuances, not about only differences. Okay? So هل نقول انتقل فلان من العداوة إلى الخصومة أو من الخصومة إلى العداوة? You need to check this up. And you need to do your own study in order to come up with a real good acceptable translation in the target language. Okay? In order to understand synonymy, it's good to understand antonymy. Antonymy, words having opposite meanings: light, dark, heavy, light, open, closed. Okay? Hyponymy, words whose meanings are included in the meaning of a more general word. Okay? The example: daisy, rose, tulip, all these are within the hyponymy word, which is flower. Okay? And you can talk about the desk, this desk, the table, sofa, all are subsumed under furniture. Sparrow, robin, crow, all these are birds. So the hyponym word is the bird, furniture, flowers. Why do you need to learn these things? Because sometimes you opt for the hyponymy in order to help you translate a word. Okay? Why is synonymy important in translation? In addition to what we have mentioned earlier in this class, synonymy enables the translator to choose from a set of words the word that he or she reckons to be the most appropriate choice to fulfill a transfer task. Understanding how synonymy functions in language will help you choose the most appropriate word in your translation process, resulting in a very good translation product. Okay? Even though the above relations do not exhaust the number of relations that exist, they are very common and additionally play an important role in human cognition. Now, there are other things you need to learn when you translate. It is not only about synonymy that you need to understand. There is this polysemy. Okay, polysemy, poly, whenever you see poly from noun, poly means many. polysemy تعدد المعاني. A good example is the word break. بريك فسحة، بريك يكسر، بريك يخفف، بريك يقلع عن التدخين. ممكن كلها هذه تيجي في هذا المعنى. Okay? The sand breaks the player's fall. يخفف الرمل سقطة اللاعب. So you don't need to go immediately for يكسر. Where is يكسر in this sentence? The sand breaks the player's fall. Okay? We perceive the world in terms of similarities, differences, oppositions, and class inclusion, general perceptual categories that also apply to our views of the relationships existing between words in a language. Now, what is the true test of synonymy? The true test of synonymy is this word, substitutability. Substitution, or how you are able to substitute a word with another word. The true test of synonymy is substitutability. The ability, which is the ability of two words to be substituted for one another without a change in meaning. The research assistant was available to assist patients completing the survey. حضر مساعد البحث أو الباحث المساعد ليساعد المرضى في إكمال المسح. حضر الباحث المساعد ليساعد المرضى في إنهاء المسح. Okay? Can we say that the research helper? No, because research assistant is fixed in English. Okay? But to assist can be replaced with help. Okay? If help is a synonym of assist, then it should be able to be substituted for assist. Substitute to be replaced, okay? In the above example, without a change in meaning. The research assistant was available to help patients completing their survey. Sorry, I must retranslate this. حضر الباحث المساعد ليساعد المرضى الذين يكملون تعبئة المسح. This is a more accurate translation because completing. There is something contracted here to help the patients who are completing. Okay? Apologies for this. Because the two sentences are identical in meaning, help and assist can be considered at least in the above contexts, because in other contexts they might depart, as we have mentioned before. They might converge, they might diverge, okay, as absolute synonyms. So absolute synonymy can exist, but it is rare. Otherwise, what is the point in synonymy as a topic in language if it is always absolute? Okay? So absolute synonymy is a controversial notion. Bollinger proposed the non-synonymy principle because he believed that absolute synonymy does not exist. For Bollinger, every linguistic form has one and only one meaning. And this is very strong notion. This is very strong hypothesis. Because language is about variation. Language is about a repertoire from which you can use whatever fits your own need in this certain context and that certain context, okay? Therefore, even though two words may be close in meaning, they will never be identical in meaning. They're close, but they are not identical. They are not same. They are similar, but they are not same. Edmund and Hurst argue that absolute synonymy, if it exists at all, it is quite rare. This is a much diluted, it's a little bit diluted statement. If words were truly synonymous, they would need to be able to be substituted one for the other in any context in which their common sense is denoted with no change to truth, value, communicative effect, or meaning. Charles also found himself in a difficult position. Can you say hard position? Not really, no. In a difficult position. Can you say hard times or difficult times? Usually we use the word hard times with difficult times, following Charles Dickens in his novel titled Hard Times. Okay? And this is collocations. We'll come to collocation later. While stupid and unintelligent both mean lacking intelligence, the substitution of one for the other produces very different results. When you say somebody is unintelligent, you don't necessarily mean that they are stupid. Okay? If you say he is stupid, then you are more obvious than unintelligent. Okay? Like, now we will come to this. If somebody likes somebody or unlike somebody, is unlike the same as, no, sorry. If you don't like somebody, if you don't like somebody, okay, does this mean that you hate them? No. Along these lines, you need to look at synonymy, okay? The family purchased a house in Park Street, London. Is buy the same as purchase? Purchase يشتري, buy يشتري, but are they same? Saint-Just recently purchased a 10-acre property in the south of France. Forms of two verbs occur in very different contexts, buy and purchase. Okay? In the BNC stands for British National Corpus. This is a huge collection of words, vocabulary that tell us about the behavior of language use in English. Bought and purchased have very different distributions across registers. We'll come to the definition of register soon, but register is the language in use related to the interpersonal exchanges, okay? We'll come to this. In spontaneous conversations, both occurs at a frequency of 348 occurrences per million words. Purchased, in contrast, did not occur at all. So buy is more frequent in English than purchase. Look at this. Of all the registers in the BNC, commerce had more instances of purchase. في عالم التجارة, commerce, 67 occurrences per million words than any other register. So purchase is a word that is used in the field of commerce. Okay? The reason for this distribution is that, unlike both, purchase is associated with some kind of formal commercial transaction. Purchase is used in commercial transaction more than buy. You can use buy, of course, but in ordinary language, buy is more frequent than purchase. But, so you talk about register here, okay? Both sound somewhat awkward in the first example, i.e. in commerce. below. Since what is being offered for sale is a commercial product in a formal business context. The serving machines are available in a selection of sizes and can be leased or purchased. You cannot say bought. Leased, يؤجر. In the examples below, purchase sounds awkward because the transactions are quite inconsequential and the context highly informal. Okay? Because word pairs such as difficult, hard, unintelligent, stupid, and buy, purchase cannot always be substituted for one another's synonyms. Okay? They are regarded as near synonyms which many linguists argue are more common in natural language than absolute. Now, we have mentioned that register is a governing aspect of the word choice. Yes, of course. Register, in fact, is when you talk to your mom, you talk in a language that is different from the language you use when you talk to your doctor, for example, if you are a patient. The language you use with your doctor in the clinic is different from the language you use with your friends in the street. This is called register. Okay? In Arabic we call it النطاق, نطاق الكلام. Okay? Register is lexicogrammatical and discursive semantic patterns associated with situations, linguistic patterns, situations that include interlocutors, المحاورين اللي بيتكلموا معك يعني. Hatem and Mason 1999, they define register as the tendency to pattern language behavior in relation to a particular type of activity, level of formality, etc. According to Professor Mona Baker and her, in other words, 2018, a variety of language that a language user considers appropriate to a specific situation. What you believe appropriate use of language with your mother at home is different from what you consider appropriate use of language with your friends in the street or with your friends at university or your colleagues at university. So the register tells you what tone, what language, what choices you use. If you go to a real estate agent or realtor and you want to purchase a house, you don't say, I want to buy a house. You can say, I want to buy a house, but when you talk, the language in the realtor world is frequently using purchase. في العقارات. Okay? So, I want you to go, not to go home because you are already at home. I want you to sit down now, look at synonymy, and choose, for example, a text, and this is available on the internet, a text that translated into Arabic, and try to substitute certain words in the translation, in the Arabic translation, with others, and see whether it still stands in Arabic, whether it still fits in Arabic or not. Remember last time we've mentioned the word no. No means يعرف. I use these simple words because sometimes you undermine, as a novice translator or a learner, students might undermine a word because they feel that they are already familiar with. Okay? When you say, for example, Americans came to know Palestinians through media. Americans came to know Palestinians through media. Which is better to say, عرف الأمريكان الفلسطينيين من خلال الإعلام أم تعرف. عرف and تعرف, two forms of the same word. There you can say تعرف is synonym of عرف. تعرف الأمريكان على الفلسطينيين من خلال الميديا or عرف. Which word you would choose? This is register. Okay? So I want you to sit down now and contemplate in synonymy, refer to Professor Ghazala's book, Translation Problems and Solutions, and look at how the book deals with synonymy. Otherwise, this presentation is fine for now. Next time, we are going to talk about idioms and phrasal verbs. When I want you to look up this idiom, the chickens come home to roost. The chickens come home to roost. Or a less complicated one, you can look for a bear hug. A bear hug. A tall order. Beating the Brazilian team is a tall order. Or save for a rainy day. How would you handle these in Arabic? Let me offer an introductory remarks on this. Language is an idiomatic, English is an idiomatic language. You need to take this into consideration when you learn English. You cannot take tall order, for example, from the face of it. You need to start teaching yourself how to reflect on the sentence when it is awkward in translation. Okay? Beating the Brazilian team is a tall order. هزيمة الفريق البرازيلي شأن طويل. Tall order. Or tall, طويل. Order, أمر. Excuse me. Can you say مهمة شاقة؟ أمر عسير? Think. Why tall became مهمة شاقة عفوا. Why order became شأن. Idioms are words coming together and sorted out together. Their meanings must be as a block as they are in their own source language. You cannot take them separately. You cannot look up the word tall in the dictionary and order in the dictionary. There are dictionaries of idioms. You need to look certain words in idioms dictionary. Otherwise, you would translate rainy day, يوم ماطر, while it is not يوم ماطر. Although يوم ماطر can be sometimes the proper translation. But when somebody says save for a rainy day, rainy day here is something else than يوم ماطر. يوم صعب, يوم I don't want to say أسود or يوم وهكذا. Okay? I want you to go home now and go for chickens come home to roost. Okay? And contemplate, open any internet web page and write idioms or that deals with idioms and try to understand how idioms function in English in order to be able to handle them in Arabic. The book to which I will refer when I talk about idioms next time is Professor Ghazala's Translation Problems and Solutions. We will mainly talk about idioms in light of his discussion. It's a very enlightening discussion, and see you next time. Bye-bye.